When a lot of people ask me what computer should I buy, my answer is 120% the M1 MacBook Air for a lot of people. And this is for people that need a computer, they don't need an iPad. But the M1 MacBook Air is probably the best value computer for a variety of reasons. One, it costs $899 for students and around $999 if you're not a student. But I'm sure you can find very good deals on like Amazon or wherever. If I can find any, I'll make sure to drop them in the description right below the like button. And for the value, bar none, there is no competition with this computer. That is mostly because of the M1 chip. This chip is the first time Apple designed their own silicon for their computers, and the M1 chip is still a beast. It has not slowed down even after all this time. I started really getting into deep edits with the M1 Air last year, and a lot of the videos on this channel itself were edited, produced. Everything was done on the MacBook Air chip. It's a beast. I got the base model. I didn't even get more RAM because the M1 chip is very efficient and it can manage RAM very well. So I got the 8 gigs. I didn't need the 16 gigs and it was still able to cut through clips very, very well. Now I'm gonna be honest, after using it for some time, although it is a beast and although it works well, at times there were some frustrations because it would kind of get the rainbow effect and I was running out of space, and when you're low on space the computer starts running very low. You can't use the swap memory. There's a bunch of reasons why the computer did slow down. For that reason, I recommend people getting the most amount of storage that they can afford internally on the computer. But other than that, the M1 chip is still a highly capable device, even compared to the M1 Pro that I have back there. The M1 Pro is a really good computer, but at the same time the M1 can do basically 90% of the tasks that the M1 Pro can do without really breaking a sweat. The M1 Air is a computer without a fan, and I like it because it means that the design is minimal, it's not loud when you're editing, and it's just cool all the time because Apple knows how to really build chips, and they basically put the iPad chip in the M1 Air and it was able to run cool and smooth. One thing that I definitely liked about the M1 Air after using it for this long is the battery life. The battery life on the M1 Air is really, really good. I mean, I experienced a really big drop off from going from the M1 Air to the M1 Pro, MacBook Pro, and I've noticed that the battery life on the Air pretty much beats it all the time. I'm able to use the computer to edit like 4K footage for like, I don't know, 5+ hours, edit a bunch of photos for even more than that. The computer doesn't really die. This is the computer that you can take when you are leaving the house and rely on the battery because the battery lasts pretty long. Speaking of leaving the house, the M1 Air is a good computer as well and the best value computer because of the design. Now it's sleek and minimal, and it is something that you can just toss in your bag, get to where you're going, and you'll probably forget that you had a Mac in there because it's just that light. And again, adjustments here, it was very hard for me to adjust to the M1 Pro because that was very thick, bulky, and it's a little bit heavier than the M1 Air. The M1 Air is the computer for everybody. If you're a student, if you are somebody that is constantly on the go, if you're creating a YouTube channel or creating content, this is the computer to get just because it handles a lot of that like a beast. And again, it's not going to break the bank. So if you're just starting out, you don't have any crazy intensive needs, then the M1 Air is still the best computer that you can buy. Can't really sing its praises without talking about the cons though. So it's a near perfect computer, but there are a few things that kind of irk me about this computer. And the first thing is that there is no SD card slot. Now, for a lot of people that does not matter, but for somebody like me that shoots a lot of content on a camera, needs to import it over, having a dongle was really annoying. So I'm glad, and for that reason, I literally don't regret upgrading to the M1 Pro, but at the same time, I do wish that it did have it on the Air because that will make this computer a lot more suited for productivity. And there are a bunch of reasons why Apple didn't put it in, and I totally understand, but still, I'm complaining, right? Why not? The other complaint that I had, of course, is the USB-C options. I do wish that Apple probably added an extra option to get USB-C, an extra port on either side. Having two USB-C ports on one side is probably the worst design thing that Apple decided to do on this M1 Air. In the next Air, I'm begging you, if you're gonna put two, put it on either side. Now, these are a couple things that I mentioned in my last video on the Air, and the video before that, and probably the video before that. To a lot of people, these things probably do not matter. It's gonna be the perfect device for you. Now, a question that a lot of people might be having is, should they buy the M1 Air right now, like today, like actually today, January 10th, I think. But if you're asking yourself that question about buying the M1 Mac Air now, I'm gonna tell you, yes, you should buy it. And the reason why is because you shouldn't wait. They're saying that it could be released in like March or probably in April. We don't really know when it's gonna come out. So waiting for it is like, it just makes no sense. You're always gonna be waiting for the next best thing. This one works for a lot of people. It could kind of work for me if I didn't need the SD card slot and I didn't need like a little bit more power, but at the same time, it works for a lot of people. So waiting, it's not ideal. Just get it right now. Go to the store, get it. If you're thinking about it, you're not gonna regret it. Try it out, and if it doesn't work for you, return it. But until then, this is the best computer that 90% of people should probably buy. But that wraps up the video. Don't be afraid, go buy it. It's worth the money and it's plenty powerful. Let me know if you have any questions about the M1 Air in the comments down below, or if you have any suggestions for my videos, drop them in the comments below. If you found this video useful, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.